which was your first single malt or blended that you like?
Oh, the very first whiskey I had was stolen from my father's drinks cabinet and was consumed in a very, very wet weekend on a scout camp.
And which whiskey was it?
I think it was black and white. Blend, yes. But the first whiskey, which went wow, was Talisker. Old Talisker, 8 years old. I'm very old, so I remember.
I'm older than you, and I remember this 8 years old.
And we were driving far northwest of Scotland, driving about 20-30 miles to a dance, to a ceilidh, and decided we needed a drink en route. Not the driver. The driver was sober, and it was Talisker. And looking at the landscape, and then tasting that whiskey, which just seemed elemental. Suddenly I realised, wow, this is special.
One time I had the chance to taste the 8 and the 10 after, and there's a very big difference between them until the beginning. In the color, in the richness, in the complexity, and the 8 years was absolutely fabulous.
The closest I think these days to the 8-year-old is the 57 North.
Yes, now.
We just got the puns. It's still softer and sweeter. Old style Talisker was scary.
Another question. What represents the Japanese whiskey for you today?
Japanese. I love Japanese whiskey, and I think it's very interesting looking at the differences between Scotch and Japanese. And I think what Japanese whiskey has is transparency and a clarity to the aroma and to the flavour, which you don't see in Scotland. There are equal levels of complexity. So Japanese whiskey is complex, Scotch whiskey is complex, but the nature of the complexity is different. And I think what you get in Japan, the analogy I use is like in Scotch whiskey, it's like seeing a mountain stream bouncing over waterfalls and kind of moving, and it's like that in the glass. There's aromas going here, there, everywhere. And in Japan, Japanese whiskey, it's a still pond and you can see everything. So they're much more ordered, they're much more lifted, they're much more intense in aroma. So they're fundamentally different whiskies, and that's for me what makes them different, what makes them great.
Have you tasted the Yoichi 88?
Oh, fantastic. That is the best single cask Yoichi for many, many years. It's extraordinary.
I wrote the tasting note in July, and I smelled it this morning. 2 months later, it's very fine, very equilibrated. Only Yoichi, very, very great still.
Super balanced. And I think sometimes Yoichi, and I love Yoichi. Sometimes Yoichi is just boom.
But not it.
And this is elegant. It's like an old samurai warrior, sitting there. It has knowledge.
I have another question. What do you think about the new distillery created everywhere in the world?
It's fantastic. I think the important thing is that they're not trying to copy Scotch whiskey. The old glass. Which is, I think they make just extraordinary whiskey. They're not saying we want to make Scotch. They're saying what is our terroir, what is our soul, how can we express this through the medium of whiskey. And I think the Australian, the Tasmanian whiskies are different, Japanese whiskey, Taiwanese whiskey, and that is great for the whiskey lover because you have so many variations on the theme there.
That's interesting that we spoke about the domaine of glass. I think they have a French approach to the whiskey. It's my opinion. Like the wine and something they try to see if there is an influence from the ground. It's very important. A month ago, a man from from Argentina came in the shop and he produced a whiskey. Yes, until 1 year. I forget the name of the distributor, but I have a sample for you.
Wow, thank you.
And that's very very interesting. With barley grown in the pampa.
Yeah. Wow, interesting.
It's very interesting. Everywhere it's okay.
The same in South Africa. There's a couple of good distilleries there. One quite large distillery, 3 ships, and another one which is in Pretoria. So it's very high, very high altitude. Okay. Making sensationally good whiskey using Solera system, and yeah, it's really exciting stuff. I just wish the one problem I have, and it's mostly with American whiskies. Okay. I think you have to understand that whiskey takes time.
Okay.
You can't rush it. Putting it in very small barrels for 3 months doesn't give you a complex spirit. You have to appreciate that whiskey takes time to mature.
I think there is now some very interesting American whiskey with, and I think the people who do not like usually the American whiskey prefer Scotch. They have to try because they are beginning to go in the direction. I think.
Yeah. I think the great American craft whiskies are already are there and more will emerge. I'm not criticising them. Okay. I just wish some of the distillers over there appreciate that you can produce gin and vodka and make your money, and whiskey. Sorry guys, you have to take time.